Good morning, everyone. Today is May the 14th, and this is the futures in 5. Taking a look at what we have, the big thing is, listen, you want to watch the edges. If they break, follow with the trend until they stop following with the trend. One of my favorite things to do is take a look at the chart and say, am I failing to close and hold lower? And whatever time frame you use, whether it's a 6-hour chart, a 4-hour chart, a 15-minute chart, that's going to determine how quickly you move in the cycle. Many of you have noticed that I've slowed down quite a bit because the bigger pictures are telling me more definitively what's going on, and so I'm able to trade around the position. We are sitting in a proving ground. We cannot get up over 28.32 this morning. 28.36 is going to be that zone we have to watch. We get up and over it, we're going to have a battle at 44 to 49. Every move to the upside is going to be faced with a battle right now, but they are going to try and push it in. So here's the thing. What's happening right now? A lot of noise. Everybody talking about, wow, here's the end of the world because of the China trade. Listen, the powers that be, wherever they are, the ones that hold the purse strings, they're going to figure out how to make things work. And I know that sounds a little bit, I don't know what to say about that, nebulous, but here's what I suspect. I suspect based on this overall motion, based on these new things that are coming out that are saying, hey, listen, you know what we're doing? We're baking in that this trade war, in quotations, is going to be a little bit more protracted. It's going to have a lot more swings. And listen, folks, if we take a look at weekly charts, we've gone up like a shot to the moon, and we have to take a breath. This is just natural cyclic motion, and it's cyclic from how things move generally, markets, systems, economies, money. Everything has an ebb and flow. And so we just need to take a breath, not think about the sky falling, realize that folks talking about the sky falling have an agenda associated with whatever it is that they're doing / saying. And what we are going to do is watch the money. And notice 2807, I put this marker out. I think I had a tweet, I don't know, last week sometime, and I said, hey, listen, 2840, kind of a big deal. If we lose that level, 2836, 2807, that's where we're sitting. So now we're going to do a reversal of that and try to hold it. Take a look at the steepness of slope. We're going to meet sellers. Why? Because those sellers are going to be trapped buyers that are saying, nope, this is the bottom. Nope, this is the bottom. Nope, this is the bottom. The same way we are going to find people coming into heavy weekly support and saying, wow, you know what? This breakdown, this is it. I'm running, I'm going. Now, in the end, this is a negative trend. So shorting at 2807, if my stop is 50 points wide, could easily continue further down, right? We've got 2770 to 2778 as the next potential levels that we are looking at. We haven't seen them in a long time. See this bullish action collapsing. All news, but algorithms are using the news and really, really capturing all kinds of alpha. And that's really what we've got to consider. So what are we looking at here? Broken support could very well start holding up over this level. If you see it start holding 28.28, 28.27, something like that, you're going to see the bullish pressure event. My thought is that we do see the bullish pressure event, and it goes into resistance And so we're going to take a shot at looking at either upside pressure to run with the trend and then start watching for price action to get weak at around this 44 area. I know that was a long, drawn-out conversation there, but necessary for intraday motion. Take a look at this. Almost on the money for the bounce. Tons of negative pressure. So remember, it's sort of like crashing against the wave coming in. People saying, oh my goodness, this is an amazing support zone. I'm going to buy. And then, what's likely? Well, we're likely to bump into sellers that say, I thought this would hold over here after I filled the gap, and now it's not. And so I've got to be a little bit more careful. And so I'm going to take some profit. And we're seeing it fade off of these edges. My suspicion is that the chart tries to double bottom. The market starts thinking, wait a second, is this a baking in of price? Are we still holding measures that can move forward? And so on and so forth. We'll see, right? Everything is we'll see. Listen, when you make an idea in your mind hard for a trade, here are the things that can happen. It can work or it won't. Now that part, you've only got two choices. The probability of whether it works or not really depends on who shows up to trade with you. At any point in time, a trade can fail. So what you have to think about is, okay, if the trade fails, am I going to be hung out to dry, or will I be able to get back in and move forward? Right now, I suspect this chart is trying to hold a bottom. A bit of bad news coming in, in terms of general news. I think a lot of big companies, there's sort of a groundswell against, let's see how these guys ought to keep making money. And so I think we're going to see some troubles here. So pullbacks, buy zones, but only into resistance. This one literally has got another 400 points of fade potentially on it if it really starts breaking down some levels. So I think we're going to grind right back into our old levels that we had a couple of months ago. All right, what's happening here? 25,250. Listen, 25,580 is a huge level. The fact that this is breaking down here, I think it goes to 25,000. Now the question is, well, that's great, Emery. That's great what you think. Yeah, exactly. The market doesn't care what I think. So if I'm trying to get this idea built into a trade, what's the way I can manage the least risk? I need to bounce into areas where people were buying aggressively and they lose the level, head lower. So that means if they get up here, they're going to try and sell aggressively. And if they lose this level, I can continue in my trade action to the south. So I am looking for resistance to re-engage. All right. Intraday motion, upside right now. Longer action going to come on the rejection of that area. Taking a look at oil, this thing is swinging back and forth. Call me a cynic, but I'm not super sure what's these stories about the tankers out there with the Saudis. I don't know. My suspicion is that global slowdown is what people are interpreting, right? More tariffs are going to mean less buying. Less buying, and I really, Keith McCullough, whether you love him or not, says some things that are really, really very, very commonsensical. If I buy less, it's deflationary, not inflationary, right? It's deflationary if I buy less. That's the law of supply and demand. And so if we've got this giant trade war building and less products flow and less stuff gets done, and we have the slowdown that we naturally see in these types of formations, shouldn't we see oil slip back into baseline support? That's 58.30. So far, it's holding 60. It's broken through this level. Up above 61.50, it's any man's game for a buy zone. I like it above 62.30, 62.40. That gives us the press upward, but you can clearly see we've got downside pressure as it gets to the top. Gold, this is one. We've been talking about it. I said, hey, we're trying to bottom. We've come here. I said the big number to get over was 1290. This chart has done exactly what it's supposed to do. This morning I tweeted, hey, listen, it came into 1297 yesterday, really fought hard at it, and then blew up over the top. Going to do it again. That's going to be a very nice pressure event. The question is, can it get up over here? Now, what is the big picture? All of a sudden, people are saying, wait, could this big move down here be baking in what it is that we see now as a potential protracted trade war with China? And if it is, we're going to watch for the fade. The big thing to watch is not a fade for a breakdown, but a fade into frontline support that allows the trade to go higher. This and the Bitcoin event, you know, these guys are running in a weird kind of tandem. And I am no Bitcoin whatever, right? Just, isn't this interesting? Nothing, tons, and then nothing, and then tons. Strange. Okay, so I would say watch. Pullbacks, going to be fair buy zones. All right? Take care. Good luck trading, folks. Be patient. Realize that every move is likely to reverse. Keep your eyeballs on a 30-minute MACD or SMI if you want to look for relative support and resistance as well as strength of trend. Take care.